I'm logging into my workstation, which is the environment where I want to be working with Horizon. Again, on browsers, on the host operating system, it is doable, but you risk getting into configuration conflicts because you've done other things on the browser already. And that is why I prefer working from a dedicated workstation environment. So we are going to start the Firefox browser. And from the Firefox browser, I am going to connect to server1/dashboard. Now this is a configuration I've been using previously, so I can just take it from history. And oh dear, what do we see here? Well, this is something I wanted you to see. Imagine that on the exam things go wrong and you want to start over again. What is going to happen if you start over again? You are going to redeploy the OpenStack node and you are going to try to connect to the OpenStack node with the same browser that you have used to connect to a previous OpenStack node. So if that happens, you are going to get this error about an invalid certificate. Now, if you get this invalid certificate error, you need to do some browser troubleshooting. And you may be an OpenStack expert, but if you don't know how to do the browser troubleshooting, you're going to fail the exam. And that is exactly why I want you to be aware of the steps that need to be taken. So we are going to the configuration options, and on the preferences there is the advanced settings, and in the advanced settings you will find certificates. So when a server requests me personal certificate, ask me every time, that is fine. What we need to do here, we need to view the certificates that are currently existing. And you can see the servers and the authorities, and we need to make sure that all this is cleaned up. So you see it, we've got OpenStack, and in OpenStack we do have a couple of certificates that are wrong. It is referring to the same name of the server, but the key material in the certificate is wrong, and that is why the browser is refusing it. So we are going to remove the VNC certificate, we are going to remove the dashboard certificate, and next we are going to check the authorities just to make sure that nothing else is roaming around that is going to bother us at a later stage. And as you can see, we also have an authority. This was a self-signed certificate, so while receiving the certificate in the browser, we have also accepted the certificate authority that has signed the certificate, and this also needs to go. So we are going to delete it. And now OpenStack has been removed from the list. In other tabs, there's nothing more to be removed, so we can now just close the browser. You really need to close the browser for this to become effective, and next you can open the browser again. So it is still going to be in history, and now we get the message that we want to see. This connection is untrusted. Do we want to log in? Yes, we want. We understand the risks and we want to add the exception and confirm the security exception, and this is going to store the certificate exactly in the location where it has been stored before. Now if you want to know what you need to enter here, that's also interesting. You can find out easily, and I'm going to show you how from the terminal setting to the OpenStack server 1 node, because the credentials are stored in user root home directory. It is Keystone RC_admin. In Keystone RC_admin you can see the username and the password. Now how secure is this? Not at all. But on the RHCSA exam you just want to pass the exam and don't care about security too much, right? So we are going to use the username admin and the password password. So back to the workstation, and we type admin and password. I'm clicking connect, and that should bring us to the dashboard interface. So here is the dashboard interface. So we are going to create a tenant in Horizon. So what you can see in the dashboard interface, you can see that I'm admin right now, which is the OpenStack overall cloud administrator. And we can see that we have access to project settings. And there is compute environment and network and orchestration, and there's some admin, and there is identity. Before taking care of anything else, I need to take care of identity. And in the identity setting, I can create two things, which are the projects and the users. So the project is the tenant, and I want to create a tenant in this environment. And let's have a look at what is already existing. We can see that there's an admin tenant and there's a services tenant. I want to add another tenant, so I click Create a Project. And let's give it a name. Let's give it the name. You can see some history here of previously used stuff. Now let's wipe that out. We are going to create a new tenant by clicking Create Project. So we need to enter a name for the project. Let's call it Engineering. There's project members that can be included, but I didn't create any project users so far. All we've got is the services users, and they don't need to be included in the project. And there's project quota. Now the quota is something to consider. This is going to define the resources that are going to be available within this project. So you can set the amount of vCPUs, for example. 20 in total is not much, but in a demo environment it's quite a lot, so let's limit it to 4. And the instances, 4 instances is more than enough. Injected files are external files that can be connected to an instance. And the injected file contents can be set. We can set the amount of volumes, the volume snapshots, the total amount of snapshots, the total amount of RAM. I don't have 50 gigabytes of RAM, so let's just set that to 2048. And I'm skipping some other options here. I just want you to be aware that you can set the options that are available. I do want to limit the amount of floating IPs to 5 and the amount of networks to 2. And next I'm going to click Create Project, and this is going to add the engineering project to my environment. And this is the end of this sublesson. In the next sublesson I will talk about creating users.